School, where she's a McDonald's High School All-American. Third-team All-American this year, SEC Defensive Player of the Year, second-team All-SEC, 10.2 points, 3.9 rebounds, sixth in the SEC with 5.3 assists per game. Another guard, 0-0, Tanai Latson, 5'8" senior from Miami, her first year with the Gamecocks after transferring from Florida State. Former McDonald's High School All-American, earned honorable mention All-American honors this year for the fourth time, with second-team All-SEC as well. 14.7 points, 2.7 rebounds, 3.7 assists per game. Another guard, number 5, Tessa Johnson, 6'1" junior from Albertville, Minnesota, out of St. Michael Albertville High School, where she was a McDonald's High School All-American. Earned second-team All-SEC honors this year. Averaging 12.9 points, 3.5 rebounds per contest. Needs 8 points for 1,000 in her career. At a forward, number 8, Joyce Edwards, 6'3" sophomore from Camden, South Carolina, out of Camden High School, where she's a McDonald's High School All-American. Second-team All-American honors this year, and first-team All-SEC for the second year in a row. Fourth in the SEC in scoring with 19.6 points per game, 6.5 rebounds as well. And in the middle, number 11, Medina Okot, 6'6" senior from Kenya, in her first season with the Gamecocks after 1 year at Mississippi State. Earned second-team All-SEC honors this year, averaging 13.4 points per game. Led the SEC with 10.9 rebounds per contest. Gamecocks in the traditional home white uniforms, garnet numbers trimmed in black, garnet and black trim down the side of the uniform. They'll be moving from left to right. Again, this is a good TCU team, 5th nationally in three-pointers made with 9 three-pointers per game. In fact, in the last 3 seasons since Coach Mark Campbell has been there for TCU, TCU has made the second most threes of any Division I program in the country. They've hit 10 or more threes 45 times in his 3 seasons in Fort Worth. The Gamecocks going to have to be on top of their defense. They can also drive to the basket, as we saw well with Miles and Suarez in their win against Virginia here the other day. And also the TCU, as we told you earlier, plays very good defense. Number 1 in the Big 12 in field goal percentage defense, so they don't make it easy on you as well. Should be a tremendous matchup. Whoever plays the best ball is headed to the Final Four. Always a lot of fun. The officials for tonight's game, Kyle Bacon, Felicia Grinter, and Angelica Suffren. I want to remind you, parents, it's never too late or too early to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, because if you're not talking to them, someone else is. Get conversation starters at openconversationsc.com. Moments away from tip-off here as the starting lineups are being introduced to the crowd. Bottom bowl mostly full here in Sacramento, the home of the Sacramento Kings. Few folks in the upper deck, but 2 folks obviously playing a long way from home. Kudos to all those who made the trip out here from all points east of here. This is the last of the games to punch the ticket to the Final Four. As we told you, all the number 1 seeds have advanced so far. Number 1 UConn, number 1 UCLA, number 1 Texas winning today over the number 2 seed Michigan. The winner tonight joins them, and if the Gamecocks win, it'll mark just the 5th time that all 4 number 1 seeds have made the Final Four in the women's bracket. But first things first, got to play well on both ends of the floor to knock off this TCU team that scores a lot, gets a lot of threes up, and plays great defense. Gamecocks break their huddle first across from us. Quick update on some other Gamecock scores. Gamecock softball closing out their season, or closing out their series at number 12 Mississippi State today. The rubber match of a 3-game series after they split the first 2 games, and Mississippi State takes the final to take 2 out of 3 in the series there in Starkville, winning a close one over the Gamecock softball team today, 4-3. Gamecock softball will be back in action on the road Thursday through Saturday of this coming week and weekend at Tennessee. Gamecock baseball back at home tomorrow to take on Wofford at 6:30 over at Founders Park before hosting Texas Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Founders Park. Medina Okot to the jump circle for the Gamecocks. She'll be opposed by Clara Silver. A couple of 6'7s going face-to-face, waiting for TV to give us permission to go. Let's light this candle. Elite 8 in Sacramento, California. The winner is on to the Final Four. Lead official to the jump circle. We're ready to go. Ball's in the air, tip controlled by the Gamecocks, moving left to right. We're underway in the Elite 8. Raven Johnson across the timeline, playing traffic cop, hands it off to Tessa Johnson. Now up top to Nia Ladson. Ladson guarded by Miles, comes around a screen to her right. Can't do the pick and roll with Medina Okot. Comes around her again to her left, pulls up from 16 feet. In and out, no good. Rebound Okot underneath the basket. Needs some help as she's double teamed. Out to Raven, left side for 3. Back rimmed it, no good. Rebound to Medina Okot, had it and lost it, and then TCU takes it away. So we had 2 cracks at it, couldn't knock it down after a hot start in the Sweet 16 here. Gamecocks start 0 for 2. Here's Suarez working on Edwards. Tough matchup there. Bounce pass to the left to Silva, guarded by Okot. Pair of 6'7s there. Here's Miles, guarded by Raven Johnson. Comes around a screen. Pulls up from the left elbow. Rolls off the rim, no good. Rebound, ping-pongs around. Tessa Johnson comes out of there with it. Oh, wow, and she is body checked by Olivia Miles. My goodness. Ladson goes down hard. Miles says, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to. But Ladson, banged up as she is, with all the problems she's had with injuries, she went down hard on the floor. And fortunately, she's up okay, but wincing a little bit. First foul on Olivia Miles, obviously. Carolina ball, we trigger it in. Here's Ladson getting it back from Edwards, dribbling right side against Miles, almost stumbles, puts it up, rolls off the rim, no good. Edwards with the rebound on the other side, spins, has the ball knocked out of her hands, and Silva gets the rebound. Gamecocks were looking for a foul, didn't get it. Gamecocks 0 for 4 from the floor. Driving is Miles, kick it out in the far corner. Back to Suarez up top. She'll try to drive on Joyce Edwards into the lane. Pivots, gets it out on the low block. Now cutting into the lane is Bigby. Shot is up, no good. Rebound lost out of bounds off of Okot. It'll remain with TCU. Just couldn't grab the rebound there. It'll remain with the Horned Frogs. They'll bring it in baseline right side. Donovan Hunter to trigger it in. Big 12 all-defensive team for the second time this year for the Horned Frogs. Hunter looking. Got to hurry to avoid the 5. Gets it into Miles, cutting across the baseline, and she walked with it. Gamecocks will have it on the turnover. So still scoreless here. 8:39 to play in the opening quarter. A shaky start for both teams offensively. Raven Johnson will bring it up for Carolina. Guarded by Hunter. Gets it across the March Madness logo. Passes left to Medina Okot. They're playing about 5 feet off her. She doesn't pull the trigger on the 3 here, though. Hands it off to Tessa. Tessa closely guarded by Bigby. Shot clock halfway down, and Tessa threw it away. Somebody zigged when they should have zagged, and both teams a little sloppy start. Here comes Suarez trying to drive against Joyce Edwards. Driving in the paint, trying to back her way in. Puts it up and in, and TCU will start the scoring with Suarez, who's coming off the career-high 33 points here the other night against Virginia in the Sweet 16. We lob it down low and throw it away again. Joyce Edwards was looking for Benita Okot, but Okot would have had to have been 8'7" to pull that one down. Back-to-back turnovers by the Gamecocks. Gives it back to TCU. A terrible start for Carolina. 0 for 4 from the floor. 2 turnovers on 3 possessions. 2 minutes gone by here. Here's Olivia Miles, right wing, guarded by Ladson. Comes around a screen, trying to drive into the lane. It opens for her, and she gets a layup, and it's 4-0. Well, they said they had to start Suarez and Miles. They've gotten layups in the last 2 trips. Going to have to defend better than that, come off screens a lot better. Here's Raven Johnson around a screen to her right. Can't shake the defender. Gamecocks down 4-0. Tessa Johnson on the right wing now. 15 to shoot it. Gets it off to Edwards, who's bumped, no foul. Now Raven pulls up from the free throw line. Missed it short. Medina Okot fighting for the rebound. It ping-pongs around. Hunter saves it from going out of bounds for TCU. Dribbles across the top of the circle to her right. Edwards picks her up as the Gamecocks just have to match up here. Now to Silva at the free throw line. 4-0 TCU. Gamecocks need to stop here. Around a screen comes Hunter on the dribble into the lane. Kicks it out to Bigby. Bigby 13 to shoot it. She'll drive in the lane on Tessa. Fadeaway jumper is good, and it's 6-0 TCU. 3 different players have scored for the Horned Frogs, and the Gamecocks off to a rough start here. Shades of the Texas game in the SEC tournament. Up top it comes, or rather Raven passes left corner to Medina Okot, hands it off to Tanaya Ladson. Shot clock at 15. Ladson trying to drive the baseline, bumped, and going to get a foul on, that's 2 on Olivia Miles. So the Gamecocks happy about that. That's 2 fouls on one of the stars for TCU. 3.5 minutes, not quite 3.5 minutes into the contest. Gamecocks will bring it in baseline left side. Raven Johnson to do the honors. No movement to get Miles out of the game yet. A lot of complaining by Mark Campbell, but that was a no-doubter as well. Raven Johnson to bring it in, gets it into Okot on the left baseline, gives it back to Raven. Up top to Edwards. Joyce, one dribble, hands it off to Raven. Not a whole lot of movement inside. Shot clock at 10 as Raven drives, stops, pops, it drops it home, and the Gamecocks are on the board. Raven Johnson with the first points. Carolina trailing 6-2 with 6.5 minutes to play in the opening quarter, ending that 6-0 run. It's the first time the Gamecocks haven't had a big run to start the tournament. 3-pointer by Suarez, wide open, and she buries it. Her 84th 3-pointer of the year, and we left her wide open for some reason. 9-2, Gamecocks trail here. Up top, Medina Okot. Again, we know TCU is going to shoot a lot of threes, and we almost turn it over. We did turn it over again. Medina Okot lost the handle. Here comes TCU with a 2-on-1. Suarez has a shot blocked by Joyce Edwards. What a play to save the layup. needs some help, but she'll get it off to Medina Ocott. Now to Raven Johnson. Still 9-2, Gamecocks trail. 5:50 to play in the opening quarter. A very sluggish start for the Gamecocks here. Not a whole lot of energy from this offense. 13 to shoot it. Here's Tessa up top. Bumped by Bigby, no foul. Passes to the right to Raven. Raven, shot clock under 10. Got to do something with it. Here's Ladson with 5 to shoot it. Guarded by Miles. Comes around a screen. Tries to drive into the lane. It opens 4, and she lays it up and in. Tania Ladson with the bucket. Makes it 9-4. 5:25 to play in the opening quarter. Gamecocks back on the board. Now you got to get a stop. Miles across the timeline. Playing with 2 fouls. Comes around a screen to her left. Drives into the lane. Hands it off to Silva. In the far corner, it comes back to Miles. Shot clock down to 10. She'll pull up for 3 and bury it. Second three-pointer of the game for the Horned Frogs, and they lead it 12-4. Gamecocks have to defend the perimeter a lot better. There's no secret what TCU does, and Gamecocks giving them a little too much room there on the perimeter. Midway through the first quarter, Gamecocks down 8. Tessa Johnson from 16 feet, no good. And Joyce Edwards collects the rebound in the far corner. Joyce on the dribble drive into the lane against Suarez. Hands it off to Medina. She'll lay it up and in. What a dish by Joyce Edwards. Fortunately, Ocott was ready for it. And the Gamecocks cut the deficit 12-6 with 4:35 to play in the opening quarter. Need a stop, though. Here come the Horned Frogs as they run their weave up top. Hunter guarded by Ladson in the man-to-man. Gets a big screen from Silva. Comes around it to her right on the pick and roll to Silva. Drives into the lane, puts it up, no good, partially blocked, but got her own rebound, and then they kick it out of bounds. It'll be Carolina ball when we come back. 4:16 to play in the first quarter. South Carolina trailing TCU here in the Elite Eight, 12-6. Parents, it's never too late or too early to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, because if you're not talking to them, someone else is. Get conversation starters at openconversationsc.com. This women's basketball post, either team has shot a free throw. See if the Gamecocks can get it back in gear a little bit on both ends of the floor. Obviously, they shot it tremendously the other night, but got to get that going, got to get the defense going as well. What we talked about in the pregame is what TCU does well. They shoot and make a lot of threes, and they're very effective with their big two, Miles and Suarez, driving to the basket. And so far, that's what they've done. Each of them has hit threes, and both of them have hit layups as well. So we'll see if the Gamecocks can battle back. Miles and Suarez with 5 points apiece. Allie Turnaby's checked in during the break, the freshman from France. Joins Raven Johnson. Joyce Edwards, Tania Ladson also checking in. Agat McKeer, the freshman from Thunder Bay, Ontario. She's got it now up top. Does Agat McKeer, guarded by Miles. Passes left to Raven Johnson. Bounce pass to Edwards on the far baseline. Shot clock halfway down. Guarded by Suarez. She'll take the long jumper. Got it. Joyce Edwards hits the mid-range for her first bucket, and the Gamecocks cut it to 4. It's 12-8 with 3:53 to play in the opening quarter. Here comes TCU the other way. Miles around a screen to her right. Raven trying to stay with her. Feeds it out to Hunter. 16-footer no good. Rebound to Agat McKeer, and the Gamecocks have it. Leading the break. Gets it off to Joyce Edwards. She'll drive in the lane. Puts it up. Too strong. Rebound Suarez. Just got to finish. Looked like she was trying to avoid the contact, and that caused her to alter her shot. Just got to go up strong. Maybe you'll get the foul. Still 12-8, TCU in front. Miles around a screen to her right, drives in the lane. Nobody stops the dribble, and she gets an uncontested layup. It's 14-8 as the Gamecocks fell asleep on defense. This is what Olivia Miles does, and for some reason, the Gamecocks haven't quite executed the scouting report. McKeer, jumper from the free throw line is good. Agat McKeer with a nice shot off the dribble, cuts the deficit to 4 again, 14-10. The freshman with her first points, 3:01 to play in the opening quarter. Gamecocks have never led. Olivia Miles across the timeline, guarded by Raven, stabbing at the basketball. Miles around a screen from Hunter to her left. Raven stays with her. Around another screen from the big girl Basham. Pull away, fadeaway jumper, rolls off the rim, no good. Rebound Raven Johnson. Here come the Gamecocks. Down 14-10. Raven, stop and go dribble. Raven trying to create on the left side. Trying to back her way in on the baseline. Up top to Tornabees, the freshman. Backdoor cut was kicked. He was trying to feed Agat McKeer, cutting across the baseline, but the defender kicked it out of bounds. It'll remain with the Gamecocks. Maddie McDaniel checks in, the sophomore from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. She'll pick up Tania Ladson. Ladson had that monster night, 28 points against Oklahoma. 2:33 to play here in the opening quarter. Maddie to bring it in baseline right side. Gets it into Raven near corner. Raven up top to Tornabees. Looking inside, but nothing there. Now Maddie McDaniel fumbles but recovers. Shot clock down to 13. McDaniel dribbling to her right. Hands it off to Raven. Raven, shot clock under 10, wants a screen from Joyce, comes around it, driving the lane left side, steps back, 15-footer, back rimmed it no good, rebound Suarez. Gamecocks got to do a better job boxing out, trying to get some offensive rebounds. Here come the Horned Frogs the other way. Suarez trying to drive in the lane, bumping her way in, shot partially blocked, rebound Tornabees, and the Gamecocks have it. Big board there by Alley. Gamecocks still down 4. 2 minutes to play here in the opening quarter. Maddie McDaniel up top, passes right to Joyce. Near side, Raven Johnson. Raven on the dribble. Up top, Allie Tornabees. Passes left to Maddie McDaniel. McDaniel around a screen to McKeer. Shot clock down to 10. Lobs it down low to Tornabees. Tornabees trying to back her way in. Pulls up from the baseline. Leaves it short. Rebound Joyce Edwards. Needs some help. Trying to drive left side. Scoops it up and in. Joyce Edwards with a tough finish to get the Gamecocks within 2. 14-12 our score. 1:29 to play here in the opening quarter. Here comes Miles the other way. Dribbling right side on Joyce. Up top to Suarez. 15 to shoot it. Miles up fake. Edwards trying to stay with her. Steps back into a 3 straight away. No good. Rebound Allie Tornabees, and the Gamecocks have it. Chance to tie or take their first lead with 1:05 to play in the opening quarter. McKeer drives, stops, pops, and drops it home for 2, and we're tied. I got McKeer with the bucket to tie things up with 1 minute to play in the opening quarter. McKeer, instant offense off the bench with a couple of buckets here quickly. Olivia Miles will bring it across for TCU. We're all square at 14 here for the first time since the opening tip. Shot clock down to 13. Miles drives into the lane. Kicks it out right side to Hunter. Hunter back to Miles right wing. Feeds it to Suarez coming across the baseline. Shot blocked from behind by Joyce Edwards. Rebound Tornabees, and the Gamecocks have it. 30 seconds to play in the opening quarter. 5-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Gamecocks looking for their first lead of the evening. It's a 6-0 run by Carolina here. Maddie McDaniel dribbling to her left. Shot clock down to 10. Now we'll start the offense. Up top to Raven. Raven around a screen. Trying to drive on the baseline on the near side. Cut off there. 3 seconds to shoot it. Edwards up top. She'll take an 18-footer. Bang! Long 2 for Joyce Edwards, and the Gamecocks have their first lead at 16-14. Half-court shot at the buzzer. Good if it goes. It doesn't go. Off the back rim for TCU, and after trailing early by 8 points, the Gamecocks go on an 8-0 run and lead 16-14 at the end of the first quarter. 10 minutes in the books. Second quarter coming up in just a moment. Hey, what does farm to table mean to you, Gamecock fans? Well, thanks to South Carolina farmers and chefs, you can enjoy locally grown food at any table, including tailgates. Visit CertifiedSC.com. It's a matter of taste. This women's basketball postseason radio broadcast is proudly presented by the South Carolina Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities, and you're listening to South Carolina Women's Basketball on the Gamecock Sports Network from the number 1 in the Big 12 in rebounding during the regular season. Gamecocks led by Joyce Edwards with 6 points. Agat McKeer has 4 off the bench. Allie Tornabees with 3 rebounds off the bench for Carolina. Olivia Miles leading TCU with 7 points. Remember, she's been playing with 2 fouls. Got 2 fouls early, but stayed in there. Kind of hoping the Gamecocks able to get a third one on her and get her out of the game, but so far unable to do it. Winner is on to the Final Four. Gamecocks trying to complete the quartet with all 4 number 1 seeds making the Final Four. The top seeds in all the other regions have advanced to the Final Four, and if South Carolina does the same, it would be only the 5th time that that's happened in the NCAA women's bracket, where all 4 number 1 seeds make it to the Final Four. That's still a long way to go in this one against a TCU team that was having their way early. Opened the game on a 6-0 run. They were getting layups by their 2 top scorers, and then they were getting threes by their 2 top scorers. And Gamecocks have to continue to adjust defensively. Hopefully they can take care of business, but TCU got here for a reason. They won 32 games, and they're in the Elite 8 for the 2nd straight year. On the floor for the Gamecocks in their home whites, it is Allie Tornabees, Medina Okot, Agat McKeer, Maddie McDaniel, Raven Johnson. It'll be TCU ball to start the second quarter, moving right to left in their purple uniforms. Gamecocks in their traditional home whites. And we're underway. Across the timeline with it is Hunter. On the dribble is Miles now, dribbling towards the top of the circle. Passes left to Suarez, guarded by Raven. Drives into the lane, kicks it out right side to Sheffy. In the far corner comes to Hunter. Shot clock down to 11. Guarded by Maddie McDaniel. Hunter comes around a screen, drives in the lane. Tornabees defends. Shot was short. Rebound Allie Tornabees, her 4th rebound. Outlet to Maddie McDaniel. McDaniel streaks across the far sideline, drives into the lane right side, into the land of Giants. Back up top to Raven, will settle into the half court. Smart move there by Maddie to kick it out as she was buried in the land of Giants. Here's Maddie dribbling back to her right, 13 to shoot it. Up top to Raven Johnson. Raven playing traffic cop, but nobody's moving. Near side, Allie Tornaby's in the corner. Puts it on the floor with the left hand. Hands it off to Agat Makir. Drives, and they're going to get an offensive foul on Tornaby's for the illegal screen. First foul on Allie. First on the Gamecocks this quarter. So it gives it back to TCU. Gamecocks still lead at 16-14. Horned Frogs moving right to left here. Miles will bring it up. Agat Makir will pick her up in the backcourt. Raven Johnson is guarding Suarez. Miles gets it across, bounce pass to Suarez to her left, does the handoff to Bigby, back to Miles up top. Miles around a screen to her right, gets another screen from Basham to her left. Makir trying to stay with her, feeds it inside, ball knocked free, and the Gamecocks come out of there with it. Here comes Raven Johnson, it's 2-on-3, and she'll wait for the numbers. Raven dribbles to the right wing, up top to Medina Okot, feeds it down low, and the ball was swatted away. That pass was too slow to get there. Tornaby's was open for a minute, but Medina Okot didn't get it there fast enough. And the Horned Frogs come out of there with it on the turnover. Still 16-14 Gamecocks. There's Olivia Miles weaving through defenders. Feeds it inside to Basham. Basham spins, shoots, and scores, and we're tied. And that'll start the scoring here in the second quarter. 8:23 to play in the opening quarter. That snaps that 8-0 run by Carolina. We've played nearly 2 minutes, and the Gamecocks haven't scored. Here's Tornaby's up top. Passes right to Raven. Raven stop and go dribble. Pulls up inside the free throw line. Got it. Raven Johnson puts the Gamecocks back on top. 18-16 our score. 8:04 to play in the second quarter. Here comes Miles around a screen to her left. Drives in the lane. Kicks it out in the corner to Hunter for three, and she buries it. And just like that, TCU reclaims the lead 19-18 with their third three-pointer of the game. We feed it down low to Medina Okot. Trying to muscle her way through a double team. Puts it up. How was there not a foul called there? My goodness. Rebound comes down to TCU as that shot was partially blocked. 1 point lead for TCU. Three ball Olivia Miles is good. It's a 4 point lead. 22-18. Olivia Miles hits another three. Back-to-back threes for the Horned Frogs. They've hit 4 here in the first half. They average more than 9 per game. And the Gamecocks have not defended the perimeter well here. They lead at 22-18. Here's Raven Johnson left side. Needs some help up top to Agat Makir. She wants three. Bang! Got it. Three-pointer for the freshman Agat Makir. Her 14th of the year. Only 21% from that range, but she gets the Gamecocks within one at 22-21. Carolina trails. Here come the Horned Frogs. Suarez left side, guarded by Medina Okot. Kind of a tough matchup there. Feed it to Hunter, who hit a three a moment ago. Her 51st or 60th of the year. Another three right side. Won't bank in for Suarez. Tornaby's with her 5th rebound, and the Gamecocks have it. Gamecocks down one, 22-21, 6:40 to play in the second quarter. Raven Johnson up top, dribbling to her left. Man-to-man defense here. Still dribbling left, 15 on the shot clock. Raven into the lane now, kicks it back out to Makir. Far corner three. Oh, in and out, no good. That went halfway down and popped out. Was ready to give it to her. Rebound to TCU. They lead at 22-21. 6:20 to play in the second. Here comes Olivia Miles, guarded by Makir. Comes around a screen to her right, goes baseline. Kicks it up top to Suarez. Shot clock down to 15. Suarez guarded by Tornaby's. Wants someone to set a screen for her. Said she'll step back into a deep three. No good. Rebound to Medina Okot, and the Gamecocks have it. Still down one. They gave Suarez an open look. And Coach Dawn Staley wants to burn an early timeout here in the second quarter. Don't see that too often. But she didn't like what she saw. 6:02 to play in the second quarter. South Carolina trailing TCU 22-21. Parents, it's never too late or too early to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. Because if you're not talking to them, someone else is. Get conversation starters at openconversationsc.com. This women's basketball postseason radio broadcast is proudly presented by the South Carolina Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. And you're listening to South Carolina Women's Basketball on the Gamecock Sports Network from Learfield. A few minutes. Still with 6. On the floor for the Gamecocks, Joyce Edwards is back on the floor alongside Tanaya Ladson, Tessa Johnson, Raven Johnson, Agat Makir, and Raven, Tessa, Tanaya, Agat, and Joyce. There we go. That's the 5. So a 4-guard lineup out there right now. Raven Johnson will bring it up for Carolina. Gamecocks down 1, 6 minutes to play in the second quarter. Raven hands it off to Tessa up top. Running her weave with Tanaya Ladson. Now back to McKeer, dribbling to her left against Suarez. Looking for a backdoor cutter. Goes up top to Joyce. She'll find McKeer on the back door. Reverse layup. Won't go down. And rebound TCU. Did everything finish there. Tough finish for McKeer. Couldn't get it to go down. TCU with the basketball, leading by 1. Miles spots up for 3 right side. Wide open. Back rimmed it this time. Rebound Raven Johnson, and the Gamecocks have it. Raven quickly across the timeline. Dribbling inside the free throw line. Dumps it down low to Joyce Edwards. Edwards will put it off the window for 2, and the Gamecocks reclaim the lead, 23-22. Joyce was 8 points now. Needed that one. Now you got to get a stop. Across the timeline with it is Donovan Hunter, guarded by Tessa Johnson. We're approaching the midpoint of the second quarter. Back and forth we go here in the Elite 8. Suarez around a screen to her left. Picked up by Tanaya Ladson on the switch, trying to back her down into the lane. Picks up the dribble, kicks it out right side. Bigby wide open for 3. No good. Rebound Joyce Edwards, and the Gamecocks have it. She'll get it off to Raven. Gamecocks lead is just 1 at 23-22. We're midway through the second quarter. Raven Johnson up top. Gets a screen from Joyce. Comes around it to her right. Looking for the roll. Gets it to Joyce at the free throw line. 15-footer is good. Back-to-back buckets for Joyce Edwards. And it's 25-22. Gamecocks in front. 4:40 to play here in the second quarter. Here come the Horned Frogs the other way. Near side it comes to Bigby. Bigby feeds it down low on the baseline. Suarez guarded by Raven. Trying to back her way in. Shot clock at 13. Muscling her way into the paint. Oh, got away with a travel. Put the shot up anyway. Won't bank in. Rebound to Tanaya Ladson. Boy, she picked up that pivot foot, I thought. Gamecocks with the basketball, leading by just 3 at 25-22. Raven slows things down as Coach Staley calls the time. Calls the play, rather. Raven drives in the lane, loops it high off the scoreboard. It rolls off the rim, no good. And then Raven steals the ball in the backcourt after TCU got the rebound. Ladson will feed Edwards under the paint. She will lay it up and in, and the Gamecocks lead 27-22. Outstanding ball movement there by the Gamecocks, who are on a 9-0 run, and a timeout taken by Mark Campbell of TCU to stop the bleeding. Outstanding ball movement there from Raven to Tanaya and to Joyce Edwards, and the Gamecocks lead at 27-22. Hey, the Gamecocks are the best when it comes to basketball, and Terminex is the best when it comes to pest control. Headquartered right here in South Carolina, Terminex has been trusted for 75 years to keep your homes and businesses pest-free. We couldn't have done it without fans like you, so thank you. Call 1-800-TERMINEX to schedule your service, and go Gamecocks. This women's basketball postseason radio broadcast. Second quarter here in Sacremento. South Carolina leading TCU 27-22, the 5-point lead, our largest of the night. Gamecocks on a 9-0 run over the last 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Let's hope they can keep it up. Some outstanding ball movement a moment ago after the Gamecocks missed a short jumper. Raven Johnson stole it after TCU got the rebound. Found Tanaya Ladson cutting across the baseline. And after the defense collapsed on her, she had a quick pass inside to Joyce. And Joyce finished. Edwards now with 12 points to go along with 5 rebounds on 6 of 8 shooting, but outstanding ball movement there. Got McKeer with 7 points for Carolina. Gamecocks were able to get 2 fouls on TCU star Olivia Miles early, but haven't been able to get her that third one. Have not been able to go right at her. She has not come out of the game as of yet. On the floor for the Gamecocks, Johnson and Johnson, Ladson, McKeer, and Edwards. It'll be TCU ball as play resumes, moving right to left. Again, 3:59 to play here in the second quarter. Miles will bring it up. McKeer will pick her up in the backcourt. And she'll get it across on the left side. Now dribbling back to her right. Oh, my God. McKeer is going to be whistled for a foul after Miles threw her head back as if somebody slapped her in the face, and got the benefit of the call there. That was a little bit of an acting job by Olivia Miles, but got the benefit of the call. Here she is up top. 3:45 to play. Comes around a screen. Steps back. 15-foot jumper from the free throw line. Rolls off the rim. No good. They get the rebound. It's the big 6'7" Clara Silva tips it back out to one of her mates. TC with the basketball. 13 to shoot it. It's Miles again. Cut off by Joyce Edwards. Top of the circle. Bounce pass to the right. Gets it back. Edwards comes out on her. Shot clock under 10. Silva sets a screen for her. Now McKeer takes her on the switch. She'll drive in the lane, dumps it down to Silva, and Silva will finish. Good ball movement there. That snaps the 9-0 run to make it 27-24 to lead down to 3. Gamecocks came off to defend the ball and left her wide open on the pick and roll. Here's Tanaya Ladson dribbling right. Now we run our weave up top. Tessa Johnson top of the circle. Comes around a screen to her left. Passes left. Almost threw it out of bounds. Raven collects it. Back to Joyce on the left elbow. Joyce on the dribble trying to back down the big girl Silva. Needs some help. Kicks it back out to Tania Ladson. Threw it away. Taylor Bigby comes out of there with it. 2-on-2 the other way. They'll wait for the numbers. Lead is just 3. Bigby around a screen. Drives into the lane. Floats it up and in. And the lead down to 1 just like that. 27-26. Back-to-back buckets on layups by TCU. Gamecocks not defending well. 2:38 to play in the second quarter. 5-point lead quickly down to 1. Gamecocks need an answer here. Tessa Johnson passes left to Raven. Raven gets a screen from Joyce. Comes around to her left. Cut off on the baseline. Needs some help. Still has the dribble alive. Feeds it to Joyce on the baseline. Hooks it up. Missed it short. Rebound caroms out to Tessa Johnson. Up top, Raven. Straight up looking at 3. Bang! Three-pointer Raven Johnson, her 40th of the year. And the Gamecocks lead 30-26. Needed that one to go to break that momentum a little bit. 4-point lead for the Gamecocks. Here's Olivia Miles. Drives into the lane. Floats it up and rolls off the rim. No good, but Silva gets the rebound. She misses the stick back. Raven Johnson collects the rebound, and the Gamecocks have it. Gamecocks got a gift there as they missed twice from point-blank range. I got McKeer right side. Pulls up from the baseline. Oh, went halfway down and popped out. My goodness, had a good look at it. Went halfway through the cylinder and popped out. Here's Suarez the other way. Gets it back to Miles. Still 30-26. Gamecocks in front. 1:40 to play here in the second quarter. Here's Miles. Comes around a screen from Silva to her right. Steps back wide open from 15 feet. Rolls off the rim again. No good. Rebound Tessa, and the Gamecocks have it. And Suarez goes down for TCU. Here's Tania Ladson up top. Gives it off to Tessa. Feeds it underneath to Joyce. Now back out to Raven. She wants 3 again. Got it again. Raven Johnson with another 3-pointer. She's got 10, and the Gamecocks lead 33-26. And an injury timeout here, I believe, for Suarez. As she was down on the floor, was slow to get back up the floor. We'll get a sub in as well. Miriam Dowda checks in for the first time. The 6'4 senior from Bentonville, Arkansas, averaging 3 points and 3 rebounds. Will pick up Agat McKeer. Suarez goes out for TCU. Bigby back in. Veronica Sheffy in as well, the senior from Woodinville, Washington. Gamecocks lead 33-26, 1:15 to play in the second quarter. TCU with the basketball. Here's Sheffy just in front of us on the left wing. Gamecocks stay in their man-to-man. Sheffy gives it off to Miles, guarded by Raven. Hand off to the big girl Basham, top of the circle. Basham with 13 to shoot it. Gets it back to Miles. Miles dribbling left on Raven. Back up top it comes to Hunter. Shot clock under 10. Hunter around a screen to her right. Dowda trying to take her on the switch. Floats one up, no good. Rebound Miriam Dowda, and the Gamecocks have it. 50 seconds to play in the half. Gamecocks lead is 7. Raven at the free throw line. Stumbles as she almost tripped over a TCU player. She's into the far corner right now. Comes around a screen from Edwards on the pick and roll to Edwards. Reverse layup, no good. Rebound to Sheffy. Did everything but finish. That's twice we've missed that opportunity. Here come the Horned Frogs the other way. 30 seconds to play in the half. Miles drives in the lane. Shot blocked by Miriam Dowda, and they're going to call a foul on Miriam. Oh, that's terrible. That is oh, boy. I don't know about that one. In live play, it looked like Miriam got all ball. May have gotten her with the body going up, but didn't see it that way live. And that'll send the Horned Frogs to the free throw line. First free throws for either team tonight, and that's hard to believe, as physical as it's been.
Miles to the line.
2 shots for Olivia Miles, who doesn't miss. 5th in the Big 12 in free throw shooting at 84%, and she just missed. Okay. Well, mark it on your calendar when she misses. One more time for Olivia Miles. 28 seconds to play in the half. She hits the second one. That snaps that little 6-0 run to make it 33-27. The lead is trimmed. Miles comes out now for the first time. Clara Silva, the big 6'7 player, checks in for her. Gamecocks can work for the final shot of the half if that's their desire. 23 seconds to play. Gamecocks lead is 6 after trailing by 8 early. Ladson will wind the clock down as she dribbles across the March Madness logo. 10 seconds to play in the half, and a bumping foul by Sheffley. Her first. Have not had a lot of whistles in this first half. That was the first team foul on TCU, and it comes with 10 seconds to play in the quarter. That's hard to believe. Get it into Ladson. Ladson, tight man-to-man coverage from Sheffy. Drives into the lane, finds Edwards at the free throw line. 15-footer, got it! Joyce Edwards, and that's how the first half will end. 35-27, Joyce Edwards with 14 first half points. Gamecocks trailed by as many as 8 points in the first quarter. They will take an 8-point lead into the locker room. but still anyone's game the way TCU can make up ground with their three-pointers. 20 minutes in the books, 20 minutes to decide who's headed to the Final Four, but the Gamecocks lead.
And Joyce Edwards is with Chris.
Joyce, first time all tournament that you guys trailed. How were you able to get back in this thing?
I mean, the game is over a span of 40 minutes. We understand that. We just try to be disciplined on both sides of the floor. They started off a little high, but we just came in, we executed on the opposite end.
That said, what will be the most important thing in the final 20 minutes today?
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
What's important coming out of the locker room in the final 20?
Just coming out with huge energy. I feel like we started the game a little flat. I mean, we picked it up, obviously, but we can't come out like that again. We're just going to try execute on both ends of the floor.
Thank you.
No problem.
Well, she's got 14. Raven Johnson has 10 to lead South Carolina. Olivia Miles leading TCU with 11 points and played through 2 fouls in the first half. Gamecocks lead at the half with a spot in the Final Four on the line. Up to the studio, Kelsey, Muffet, and Megan.
Basham to round out their scoring. For the Gamecocks, Joyce Edwards, 14 points, 6 rebounds to lead the Gamecocks in both categories in that first half. Raven Johnson, 10 points, 4 assists. 7 points off the bench for Agat McKeer and 2 points apiece for Medina Okat and Tanaya Ladson to round out our scoring. 20 minutes to decide who is heading to the Final Four. Gamecocks trying to get there for the 6th year in a row and 8th time in program history. TCU trying to get there for the first time in program history after making the Elite Eight for the 2nd straight year. Gamecocks lead by 8 at the break. We'll take a timeout and come back with the start of the third quarter in just a moment. Getting set to start the third quarter. We're at the Golden One Center in Sacremento, California, home of the Sacramento Kings for this Elite Eight matchup. The winner is on to Phoenix for the Final Four, which begins on Friday. Gamecocks trying to punch their ticket for the 6th consecutive year and 8th time in program history. TCU trying to get there for the very first time after reaching the Elite Eight for the 2nd year in a row. Gamecocks trailed by as many as 8 in the first half, and now they lead by 8, but still 20 minutes of basketball to try to settle this down. See if the Gamecocks can get off to a good start. It was TCU who opened the game on a 6-0 run, and the Gamecocks were very sluggish. See how the second half will start here. Good crowd here in Sacramento, despite the far travel for these two teams, especially for South Carolina. Gamecocks and TCU trying to join UConn, Texas, and UCLA in the Final Four. Gamecocks in their home whites, scarlet numbers trimmed in black. TCU in their purple uniforms, white numbers, white trim. It'll be Carolina ball moving right to left to start the third quarter. Original starting 5 out there, although some of the starting 5 didn't play a whole lot in that first half. Johnson and Johnson, Ladson, Edwards, and Okat. Medina will trigger it into Raven to start the third quarter. And we're underway. Here we go. Raven Johnson will bring it across the March Madness logo, guarded by Hunter in the man-to-man, dribbling to her right. Gives it off to Tessa Johnson right side. Tessa around a screen. Only took 1 shot in that first half, did not score. Here's Tanaya Ladson. Swings it right side. Gets it back from Joyce Edwards. Drives in the lane. Had the ball knocked out of her hands. And ball batted around. It's loose on the floor. And Ladson somehow kept it alive. Took it away from Hunter. What should have been a turnover. But the shot clock's down to 4. Now Ladson drives in the lane. Goes up. Shot no good. But there's Medina Okat with the rebound. She'll lay it up and in. And Medina Okat with her second bucket gives the Gamecocks their largest lead of 10 points at 37-27. Just underway here in the third quarter. There was no clear change of possession. And the shot clock was winding down. And Gamecocks able to get a finish there to beat the buzzer. Here's Suarez up top, guarded by Okat, trying to drive left side of the lane. Pulls it out with 10 to shoot it. Still has it on the floor. Okat trying to stay with her. Shot clock under 10. Drives into the lane. Spins to her left. Fadeaway jumper. Rolls off the rim. No good. Rebound ping-pongs around out there. And TCU comes out of there with it. Tough break. 6'7" Silva just poked it away. And teammate was there. And then driving the baseline was Donovan Hunter. Nobody stopped the dribble. And she gets a layup at 37-29. As Hunter has 5 points. Gave up an easy layup there after some good defense early in that possession. 8:40 to play in the third. Gamecocks lead back to 8. Here's Tessa Johnson right side. Tessa around a screen to her left. Drives into the lane. Big 6'7" Silva is there. Shot up by Tessa, no good. Tried to put it over the outstretched arms of the 6'7" post and put it too high off the glass. Rebound to TCU. Lead is 8. Three-pointer for Olivia Miles is good. And just like that, the lead down to 5, 37-32. Olivia Miles hits her third three-pointer. She's got 14 points. Now has 73 of those on the year. And again, the Gamecocks struggling to get a hand in the face of these perimeter shooters. This is the scouting report. Get it down low to Raven Johnson. Trying to back down. Puts it up. Shot was blocked by Hunter. It goes out of bounds. It'll be Carolina ball. Raven thought she had a good one-on-one with Hunter, who's about the same size, but Hunter got a piece of her shot and it went out of bounds. Tessa Johnson out, Agat McKeer in. Gamecocks will bring it in, baseline left side. Raven to do the honors. Gamecocks lead was 10. It's cut in half now, down to 5. Get it up top to Edwards, and we're underway. Edwards will hand it off to Raven. Will settle into the half court. Raven around a screen from Joyce to her right. Can't use the pick and roll. Spins to her left. Fadeaway jumper. Left it well short. But Raven follows her shot. Gets the rebound. Follow-up shot won't go. Gets another rebound as Raven. Misses from the other side. Okant with the rebound. Trying to go up with it. And they're going to get her for a travel. She's just got to go straight up with the basketball. My goodness, Medina. Great job on the boards, but she gets flustered in traffic. If she goes straight up, it's either going to be a bucket or a foul, and she's trying to do too much. Turnover gives it back to TCU. Carolina's lead was 10. It's quickly down to 5 at 37-32. Here come the Horned Frogs. Up top is Hunter. Comes around a screen to her right from the big girl. Back up top it comes to Silva. Passes left to Suarez. Around a screen, driving into the lane. Spins to her left. Got away with a walk. Up top to Miles. Shot clock at 10. Tries to drive. Oh, pushes off McKeer. They don't call the foul. Steps back into a three-pointer. Missed it short this time. Rebound caroms out to Medina Okant. The Gamecocks have it. Boy, Olivia Miles got away with a push-off, and they didn't call it. 7:07 to play in the third. Lead is just 5. Ladson dribbling left. Only scored 2 points in the first 3 minutes here. Back to Raven. Shot clock at 15. Raven passes right to McKeer. Up top to Ladson. Ladson, shot clock down to 5. To McKeer, driving into the lane, floats one up and off the rim, no good. Rebound Miles. Gamecocks not crashing the boards offensively. We've gone cold here. Here they come in transition. When we knock the ball free, Joyce Edwards takes it away. They were trying to feed the big girl inside in transition, and the Gamecocks poke it free. Here comes Ladson, weaving through defenders, and she's going to go to the line as she was fouled on the way up. It'll be the first free throws of the night for the Gamecocks, and it comes with 6:32 to play in the third quarter. Miriam Dowda will check in for Carolina. She'll pick up Medina Okant, who's struggled today. Has 4 points, does have 5 rebounds, but just unsure of herself underneath the basket there. Here's Ladson at the line. Quiet night for her. Just 2 points after 28 in the win over Oklahoma here the other night. And she misses the first free throw. She was 10 for 10 from the line the other night. Brought her average up to 79%, but misses the first one here. And she hits the second one to make it 38-32. Gamecocks in front. 6:32 to play here in the third. Suarez will bring it up on Agat McKeer. Gets it across the March Madness logo. Picks up the dribble. Passes left to the big girl Silva. Now up top Miles. Steps back. Tries to drive the lane. Floats it up. No good. Silva gets the rebound. Kicking out left side. Three-pointer by Bigby. Bounces off the rim. No good. Rebound Agat McKeer. And the Gamecocks have it. Hands it off to Raven. In transition to Joyce Edwards. Joyce driving the lane. All kinds of contact. No foul call. And then we get a foul underneath on the rebound. My goodness. Joyce Edwards was blasted on the way up and no whistle. Gamecocks do get the foul called on the rebound on TCU, but should have been a shooting foul for Joyce Edwards. Not sure what they were seeing. Raven Johnson will bring it in baseline right side. Gamecocks 0 for their last 7 from the floor. Raven will bring it in baseline right side. Lead is 6. Got to hurry to avoid the 5. Gets it into McKeer. Feeds it inside to Miriam Dowda. Gets her man in the air and lays it in. Miriam Dowda with her first points. And the Gamecocks lead 40-32. Big bucket there for Miriam. 8-point cushion here. Here's Miles across the timeline. Around a screen to her right. Drives into the lane. Behind the back pass to Bigby. Top of the circle for 3, and she buries it. Little mustard on the hot dog, but it's another three-pointer for the Horned Frogs. Their lead is cut to 5 at 40-35. Here's McKeer left side. Trying to drive into the lane, cut off at the free throw line. Feeds it down low to Dowda. Dowda spins, gets her man in the air, muscles it up, no good, gets her own rebound. She'll pull it back out. McKeer left side, feeds it to Edwards near side in the corner. Joyce puts it on the floor, driving past Suarez, floats it up, a lot of contact, no foul. Joyce gets the rebound, but she's too far into the basket. Gets it off to Raven. Raven trying to drive. Oh, and they're going to get her for a travel. 40-35. Gamecocks turn it over. Carolina in front with 5:13 to play. Gamecocks just 1 for their last 10 from the floor. Horned Frogs, as they're known to do, have hit 6 3-pointers tonight. They average 9 a game, among the tops in the country. Approaching the midpoint of the third quarter, 10-point lead down to 5. Up top it comes to Basham. Passes left to Bigby, who hit that three a moment ago. Back up top to Miles. Miles around a screen to her right. Drives into the lane on Dowda. Misses the layup, but Basham gets the rebound. She misses the putback. Edwards with the rebound, and the Gamecocks have it. Gets it off to Raven Johnson. Raven across the March Madness logo. Driving to the top of the circle. Hands it off to Tania Ladson. Driving into the lane with the right hand. Needs some help, but she's cut off. Up top to Edwards. Shot clock halfway down. Back to Ladson on the right wing. Dumps it to Edwards on the baseline. Trying to spin her way into the lane. Shot clock at 10. Working against Suarez. Puts it up. They're not going to count it. Going to get a foul before the shot, they say, and that'll send us to a timeout. 4:34 to play in the third quarter. South Carolina's lead is cut to 5 at 40-35. Parents, it's never too late or too early to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, because if you're not talking to them, someone else is. Get conversation starters at openconversationsc.com. This women's basketball postseason radio broadcast is proudly presented by Miles in the first 5 minutes of the first quarter. Thought the Gamecocks might be aggressive going right at her. Now, she is a good defender, so you got to run your offense, but they've not been able to get her into further foul trouble, and we're obviously midway through the third quarter. On the floor for the Gamecocks as play resumes, Maddie McDaniel, Magat McKeer, Miriam Dowder, Tania Ladson, Joyce Edwards. It'll be Carolina ball as play resumes. We'll bring it in baseline right side underneath our basket. But it has been a very poor shooting third quarter for the Gamecocks. McKeer will be the trigger woman. Slaps the ball to get things in motion. Gets it into Joyce in the far corner. Feeds it to McKeer on the low block. McKeer trying to work her way in. Rolls it up, no good. Another big rebound by 6'7" Kennedy Basham. They got a couple of twin towers. Gamecocks 1 for their last 11. Here's Miles around a screen. Offensive foul called on Kennedy Basham. We finally got a whistle. And the Gamecocks will take it on the offensive foul and turnover. Still leading by just 5 with 4:21 to play in the third. Maddie McDaniel will bring it up. Gets it across, dribbling to her left towards us. Man-to-man defense for TCU. Now back to her right across the top of the circle. Passes to McKeer. McKeer around a screen from Joyce. Gives it up to Joyce. She'll take a 15-footer. Rolls out, no good. Rebound lost out of bounds. It'll be Carolina ball. And Olivia Miles of TCU says they should review that. And if Gamecocks want to inbound quickly. See if TCU's going to challenge it. The officials keep looking towards the bench. Give her the ball. They're not challenging it. Let's go. Magat McKeer will bring it in baseline right side. Gets it into Edwards in the far corner. Edwards on the dribble against Suarez on the baseline. A lot of contact. Lost the handle. It was knocked out of bounds by Suarez. It'll remain with the Gamecocks with 12 on the shot clock. This TCU team defends very well. Maddie McDaniel will bring it in baseline left side. Nobody guarding the inbound pass. Gets it to McKeer. McKeer driving towards the basket. Puts it high off the glass and in. Magat McKeer with 9 points. Lead up to 7 at 42-35. 3:50 to play in the third. Olivia Miles will bring it up. Comes around a screen as she crosses the timeline to her left. Around another screen to her right. The lane open for her. Oh, and they're going to get a foul on Joyce Edwards. Joyce came over and tried to help. Got a piece of the body on the way up, they say. And that'll send the Horned Frogs to the line for a rare free throw attempt. Each team has only taken 2 free throws the entire game tonight, and with as physical as it's been, it's hard to believe. Miles at the line for a pair. She's 1 out of 2, 84% on the year, and hits the first one. She is automatic almost when she gets there. Had that miss in the first half. One more time for Miles, leading them with 15 points, leading all scorers tonight. Second free throw is also good, and the lead is trimmed, 42-37. 3:39 to play here in the third. Work it right side, Tania Ladson. Ladson around a screen to her left to the top of the circle. Passes back to her right to Maddie Mouse McDaniel. Mouse on the dribble, shot clock halfway down. Takes a peek, comes around a screen to Edwards. Edwards drives the baseline, pulls up from 10 feet. Rolls off the back rim, no good, and they're going to get a foul on the Gamecocks. No, they're going to get a foul on the shot. That was a late whistle, but we'll take it. And the Gamecocks will get their second set of free throws of the game. Didn't see who they put it on. I believe it was on Suarez, her second. Tonight, Ladson out, Tessa Johnson in. Been a quiet night for Tessa Johnson. It's only taken 2 shots, hasn't scored. They have defended her well. Joyce Edwards at the line. 14 points, 9 rebounds tonight. Her first visit to the stripe. And she hits the first one to make it 43-37. Edwards 71% from the stripe on the year. Earned second team All-American, first team All-SEC honors this year. Second free throw also good. 44-37 Carolina. 3:20 and counting here in the third. Miles will bring it up. Playing catch with Suarez as they get it across along the far sideline. Now Bigby up top to the big girl, Basham. Basham looking inside, shot clock at 15. Gives it off to Suarez. Comes around a screen to her right. Dowda takes her on the switch. Steps back into a three and airballs it into the baseline. It'll be Carolina ball. That doesn't happen very often for Suarez. He's hit 83 three-pointers on the year. Carolina ball leading 44-37. Just under 3 minutes to play in the third quarter here. Maddie McDaniel across the timeline. Guarded by Hunter in the man-to-man. Dribbling right across the top of the circle. Passes up top to McKeer. Thought about the three. Doesn't pull the trigger. Comes around a screen from Edwards to her left. Puts it high off the glass and in. Got McKeer in double figures for the fourth straight NCAA tournament game. She's got 11 points. 9-point lead at 46-37. 2:35 to play here in the third. Here comes Miles the other way. Around a double screen to her left. McDaniel trying to stay with her. She comes around another screen. Behind the back pass to Bigby. Bigby can't pull the trigger on the three this time. Shot clock down to 10. Here's Hunter up top. Comes around a screen to her left. Shot clock down to 7. Up top to Suarez. Guarded by Joyce Edwards. Drives in the lane. Ball knocked loose. It goes out of bounds off of the Gamecocks, they say. It'll remain with TCU with 2.9 seconds on the shot clock. Got to defend well here, and you don't want to foul. We'll bring it in. Baseline left side. It'll be Hunter to trigger it in. Gets it up top to Bigby. Bigby. Long three to beat the buzzer. That's an air ball. Great defense there for the Gamecocks. It's a shot clock violation, and the Gamecocks will have it. Leading 46-37 with 2:09 to play in the third. Maddie McDaniel will bring it up. Gamecocks trying to take a double-digit lead for just the second time tonight. Maddie gets it across. Guarded by Hunter. Around the top of the circle to her right. Still on the dribble. Mounts passes right to Tessa Johnson. Comes around a screen on the dribble drive with the left hand. Floats it up. Has her shot blocked. It goes out of bounds. It'll remain with the Gamecocks as they'll get Veronica Sheffy back in. She'll pick up Olivia Miles, who doesn't come out often, but she'll come out here with 1:53 to play in the third. Maddie McDaniel will bring it in baseline right side. Got to hurry to avoid the 5. Gets it into Agatha McKeer. Puts up a prayer that's not answered, and she was fouled and will go to the line. Agatha McKeer creating some havoc. She's got 11 points. 3 Gamecocks in double figures, and she'll be at the line for a pair. McKeer wasn't there often during the regular season and didn't shoot it particularly well. 66%, 29 out of 44 for the freshman. And misses the first one here, hit the back of the iron. See if she can hit 1 out of 2 and give the Gamecocks their second double-digit lead. One more time for McKeer. Got that one to go. 47-37 Gamecocks. 1:51 to play in the third. Now Miles will come back in. She only sat out for the free throws as Bigby goes out. She hardly ever comes out. Gamecocks matching up in the backcourt here a little bit as Sheffy will bring it up on Maddie McDaniel. Now Suarez, middle of the floor, will get it across, picked up by McKeer. Hands it off to Olivia Miles. Now McKeer will take Miles. Comes around a screen to her left. Bounce pass inside. Now kicks it back out to Suarez. Suarez stop and go dribble with 10 to shoot it. Passes left to Miles. Comes around a screen. And now around another screen to her right. Opens up in the lane and floats it up and in. Oh, you hate to see that. 47-39. And then one of the Horned Frogs went down hard on the baseline. Didn't see what happened. I believe that's Olivia Miles. Didn't see what happened. She got the layup and then went down to the floor, and she is in a heap on the baseline. And you hope that's nothing serious. Might be, just be a cramp. She's back on her feet now, and it appears to be possibly just a cramp. Again, she doesn't come out of the game very often. And she just might need some stretching there. 1:24 to play in the third. Gamecocks in front 47-39 after they gave up the layup. Maddie McDaniel will bring it up. Miles with 18 points now to lead everybody. Across the timeline, McDaniel passes right to Tessa Johnson. Feed it on the baseline to Miriam Dowda on the far side. Dowda feeds Tessa, cutting in the lane. Near side, Maddie McDaniel. She wants three. Off the front rim, no good. Fight for the rebound. Dowda saves it from going out of bounds. Tips it to Joyce Edwards. What a play there by Dowda to save the possession. Under a minute to play in the third. 13 on the shot clock. Boy, a lot of hustle there by Miriam Dowda. Shot clock at 10 for Maddie McDaniel up top. Around a screen to her right. Driving into the lane. Gets bumped. No foul call. Goes underneath the Dowda. And the ball knocked loose, and that's going to be a shot clock violation. There was a lot of contact. They're just letting them play tonight. 40.1 seconds to play in the third. Gamecocks lead at 47-39. TCU ball here. Hunter will bring it up. Playing catch with Suarez in the backcourt as the Gamecocks match up man-to-man. Suarez gets it across. Dribbling left around a screen from Bigby. Gamecocks switch. Tessa Johnson picks her up. Shot clock at 15. Suarez trying to back her down. Drives into the lane. Wraparound pass underneath the Basham. She blows the layup but gets the rebound and sticks it back in. And the lead is trimmed 47-41. 16 seconds to play in the third. The Gamecocks can work for the final shot. Just a 6-point lead here. Led by 8 at halftime. Led by as many as 10 twice, but now it's down to 6. Maddie McDaniel, 5 seconds to play. Up top, Tessa Johnson. Feeds it down low to Joyce. And Joyce is going to be fouled before the shot. And that'll send Joyce Edwards to the free throw line with 2 seconds to play in the third quarter. Now you got to make the free throws. Joyce Edwards, by the way, another double-double, 16 points, 10 rebounds. Her 9th double-double of the season. And 13th of her career. Joyce at the line for a pair. Hits the first one, and it's 48-41. One more time for Joyce. Second free throw. Got it. 49-41. She's 4 for 4 from the line. 2 seconds to play in the third. TCU inbounds to Sheffy. Three-quarter court shot is off the mark, and that's how the third quarter will end. 30 minutes in the books, 10 minutes to decide who's headed to the Final Four. Gamecocks with an 8-point lead as we head to the final frame here in Sacramento. Parents, it's never too late or too early to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, because if you're not talking to them, someone else is. Get conversation starters at openconversationsc.com. See if they can find a way to get back on it offensively. Joyce Edwards leading the Gamecocks with 18 points and 10 rebounds for her 9th double-double of the year. Agat Makir, the freshman, with 12 points off the bench. Raven Johnson with 10. Olivia Miles leading TCU with 18 points. Again, still a long way to go in this one. Good crowd here. The winner is on to the Final Four. The winner will get the defending national champ Connecticut Huskies in the semifinal on Friday. The other half of the bracket will be UCLA and Texas. Possibility of having a repeat of the 4 teams that made the Final Four last year if the Gamecocks are able to win. But again, still a long way to go. TCU trying to make its first ever appearance in the Final Four. Gamecocks looking for their 6th in a row and 8th all time, all under Coach Dawn Staley. Gamecocks in their home whites, TCU in their road purple. On the floor for the Gamecocks as they break their huddle. It'll be Raven Johnson, Tania Ladson, Tessa Johnson, Agat Makir, Joyce Edwards. Gamecocks have been going with the 4-guard lineup a lot tonight. It'll be TCU ball to start the fourth quarter. Moving left to right, Olivia Miles will bring it up. Miles has been as good as advertised. And we're underway. Miles guarded by Makir. Bounce pass to the left to Suarez. Back up top it comes. The ball knocked free. Tania Ladson comes out of there with it. Long lead pass to Agat Makir all by herself. She will lay it up and in, and the Gamecocks match their largest lead of 10 points at 51-41. Agat Makir with 14 points. Her career high for the freshman is 15 earlier in this NCAA tournament. Just underway here in the fourth quarter. Hunter up top. Passes to the big girl, Basham. Top of the circle, guarded by Joyce. Shot clock at 13. Now to Suarez. Pulls up for 3. It's off the mark. Rebound Tessa, and the Gamecocks have it. Hand off to Raven. Get it across to McKeer, left side, guarded by Suarez. Drives, pulls up from the free throw line, missed it, but follows her shot, gets the rebound. 2 more, and the Gamecocks have their largest lead. 53-41. Agat McKeer, the freshman, a career-high 16 points tonight. Minute gone by in the fourth quarter. And a timeout taken by Coach Mark Campbell of TCU to try to stop the bleeding. 53-41, Gamecocks lead with 9:06 to play here in the fourth quarter. This women's basketball postseason radio broadcast is proudly presented by the South Carolina Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. And you're listening to South Carolina Women's Basketball on the Gamecock Sports Network from Learfield. Last season, Gamecocks won that meeting 85-52, but this one obviously a lot tighter. Gamecocks trailed by as many as 8 in the first half. It'll be TCU ball as play resumes. After the timeout, they'll bring it in across the way in front of their own bench. Tonight, Ladson will guard the inbound pass. And we're back underway as Miles has it between the rings, guarded by Agat McKeer. Dribbling to her left around a screen. Tessa takes her on the switch. Around a screen to her right. Behind the back pass again to Suarez. Suarez drives the lane on Tessa, and Tessa knocked it out of her hands, out of bounds. Good defensive play there by Tessa Johnson. They remain with TCU with 12 on the shot clock. They'll bring it in baseline left side. Hunter to do the honors. Gets it into Miles. Stolen away by Agat McKeer. The freshman had her pocket picked from behind right after she stole it, however, and Suarez takes it away. Kicks it out to Miles, who's all by herself for 3, but she misses it. Rebound to, Tessa Johnson had it, and then she was undercut out of bounds. It'll be Carolina ball. Goodness, not sure how there wasn't a foul there. Carolina ball. Fortunately, everybody's okay. Tessa got her feet taken out from underneath her. Now, McKeer had the steal, then she got her pocket picked from behind. Gamecocks lead 53-41. 8:35 to play in the contest. Raven Johnson slowly across the timeline. Bounce pass to the left to McKeer, who has to hurry to track it down in the corner. She puts it on the floor, trying to drive, spins to her left, rolls it up and in. Oh my! Agat McKeer found another gear, and it's 55-41. Agat McKeer is unconscious tonight. 18 points, tied for team high. It's a new career high for the freshman. Up top is Miles. Comes around a screen to her right. Into the lane. Edwards takes her on the switch. Misses the layup. Rebound Raven Johnson, and the Gamecocks have it. Outlet to McKeer. Near side Tessa Johnson puts it on the floor. Oh, she was bumped out of bounds. No foul. We get it into Joyce Edwards, and Joyce Edwards will lay it up and in. And it's 57-41. Gamecocks lead by 16. Three-pointer by Suarez, right wing, won't go down. Rebound Raven, and the Gamecocks have it. Quickly down the floor, Raven Johnson. Here's Tessa Johnson. Thought about the 3, doesn't pull the trigger. Whistle away from the ball, and we're going to get a foul on TCU to slow things down with 7:41 to play. Gamecocks on a 10-0 run here. Foul was on Suarez, her third. It'll be Carolina ball. We'll bring it in. Baseline left side, Raven Johnson to do the honors. Got to hurry to avoid the 5. Got to hurry, get it into Joyce Edwards, puts it on the floor, drives past Suarez, in front of the rim, she'll lay it up and in, and it's 59-41, a 12-0 run. Joyce Edwards with another bucket. She's got 22 points for Edwards. Another 20-point game, her 22nd 20-point game of the year. Here's Olivia Miles, drives, kicks it out, and they're going to get a foul on Tanaya Ladson on the hand check. First foul on Tanaya, as we'll get Medina Okot into the contest. Medina hasn't played a lot tonight. This hasn't been a good matchup for this 4-guard lineup of TCU. She's going to come in for Ladson. Give Ladson some legs. Gets a high five from Coach Staley. Now they're going to get one of their bigs in, Clara Silva, their 6'7" player from Portugal, a transfer from Kentucky. She'll pick up Sheffy. TCU will bring it in baseline right side. Gamecocks with an 18-point lead here. They feed it up top to Suarez. She'll drive the center of the lane. Cut off there. Needs some help. Up top it comes. They almost went over and back as Hunter catches it shy of the timeline. Comes around a screen. Drives into the lane. Bounce pass to Bigby in the far corner for 3. It's no good. Rebound. Karam's out to Silva for TCU. Fresh 20 on the shot clock. Here's Miles, drives past the defender, stolen away by Tessa Johnson. Just picked her pocket. Tessa feeds it, got McKeer. Back to Joyce Edwards. She'll lay it up and in. That's how you run it. And the Gamecocks have ballooned the lead up to 20 points at 61-41. It's a 14-0 run. Here's Miles the other way. Shot swatted away by big Medina Okot. Big Mama says not on my watch. Would not allow Olivia Miles to drive for the layup. And the Gamecocks on a 14-0 run have their largest lead of 20 points. Timeout taken by TCU with 6:48 to play. We'll step aside as well. Parents, it's never too late or too early to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, because if you're not talking to them, someone else is. Get conversation starters at openconversationsc.com. This women's basketball postseason radio broadcast is proudly presented by the South Carolina Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. We got McKeer. Career high 18 points off the bench. Joyce Edwards, 24 points, 10 rebounds to lead South Carolina. TCU ball, they'll bring it in baseline right side. They try to cut into this 20-point Carolina lead. Hunter to trigger it in. Gamecocks got to keep the defensive pressure up. Get it into Miles in the near corner. Miles on the dribble, comes around a screen. A whistle away from the ball, and we're going to get a foul on McKeer trying to work through the screen. So got McKeer will pick up her second foul. Second foul on the Gamecocks this quarter. Last thing you want to do is let TCU shoot free throws. They get it into Suarez right side, trying to back down Joyce Edwards. Spins into the paint, knifing around to her right, gets two men in the air, loops it up, no good. Rebound lost out of bounds to the Gamecocks. TCU thinks they should review it. At least the players do, but Coach Campbell does not agree. Perhaps he's afraid of losing the timeout. Raven Johnson will bring it up for the Gamecocks. They've only got one timeout remaining. 6.5 minutes to play here. See if the Gamecocks take some air out of the ball. McKeer, top of the circle, works it left side, Tessa Johnson. Tessa around a screen from Joyce to her right, pulls up, got it. She's not quiet anymore. Tessa Johnson with her first points of the night. And the Gamecocks lead 63-41. It's a 16-0 run by South Carolina. There's Olivia Miles up top. Bounce pass to the left to Hunter. Hunter guarded by Raven in the man-to-man. Comes around a screen from Silva. Swings it into the right corner. Three-pointer from Bigby is good, and that snaps that 16-0 run to make it 63-44. First points of the quarter for TCU, and it comes with 4 minutes gone by. Medina Okot drives in the lane across the baseline. She missed it in traffic. Ball knocked out of bounds off TCU. It'll remain Carolina ball. Still leading 63-44 after that three-pointer a moment ago by Bigby. It was her second three, gives her 10 points. 65th three-pointer of the year for her. Up top, Joyce Edwards off the inbound. Feeds it underneath Medina Okot. Beats her man and lays it in for two. And it's 65-44. Gamecocks in front with 5:40 to play. Medina Okot with 6 points to go along with 5 rebounds. Good to see her get something going. Miles around a screen to her left. Comes around another screen to her right. Pulls up. Right elbow. Missed it short. Suarez fighting for the rebound. Raven Johnson comes out of there with it. Raven across the timeline far side, gives it off to Tessa. Right wing three, bang! Three-pointer Tessa Johnson. There she is, her 88th three-pointer of the year. And the Gamecocks lead at 68-44 with 5:04 to play in this one. Tessa Johnson, long time coming in this one tonight, but it's a big one. The leading three-point shooter in the SEC finally got one to go. Suarez drives the lane, and she'll lay it up and in to make it 68-46. The lead is trimmed with 4:50 to play. They'll get Kennedy Basham back into the contest, their other 6'7". And was there a timeout? I believe there was. Timeout taken with 4:52 to play. Gamecocks leading at 68-46 over the Horned Frogs of Texas Christian. The timeout, and we will take it with them. Back in a moment, you're listening to South Carolina Women's Basketball on the Gamecock Sports Network.
And under 5 minutes to play, but down 68-46 to South Carolina. Gamecocks have outscored them 19-5 here in the fourth quarter. And South Carolina knows what waits for them if they were to pull it out with 5 minutes to go here. A rematch with UConn. Be a rematch of last year's national championship game, but also if South Carolina were to win this game, that means for back-to-back seasons, we'd have the same teams in the Final Four for just the second time.
It seems crazy to think that it is just the second time, but the #1 seeds hadn't been tested all too much in the NCAA tournament until TCU here tonight with South Carolina. And to have a repeat of a Final Four a year ago, all these teams, their eyes on the prize.
And earlier tonight, we saw Texas dominate Michigan 77-41. Madison Booker had 19 in that game. Texas back to the Final Four. Now will it be South Carolina hanging on to this large lead or a comeback for TCU?
Nice find on the mismatch.
Yeah, 3-second violation on Medina Okot. It's kind of hard to remember that Medina Okot just started basketball at the age of 17. She played 1 season at Mississippi State, and this is her final year of college basketball because she had played 2 years at an international college before coming over to the States. Marta Suarez gets the layup. But the ceiling is high for Medina Okot and what her future could be.
It sure is, and Don Staley talked about Medina Okot and just her development and evolution. Tessa Johnson, she hadn't had many opportunities, and you got to give TCU credit because they had been stuck to her.
Sorry, that break went a lot longer than we thought it was going to, but a three-pointer by Tessa Johnson gives the Gamecocks a 71-48 advantage. Olivia Miles driving in the lane, shot up no good. That's after the Gamecocks had a 3-second violation on their first possession coming out of the timeout, and then the Horned Frogs got a layup. And then Tessa Johnson came down and hit her second 3 of the half. She's got 8 points all here in the fourth quarter. Gamecocks leading TCU 71-48 with 3:45 to play in the game. Carolina ball. Maddie McDaniel will bring it across. Moving right to left, Gamecocks trying to advance to the Final Four for the 6th time and eighth time overall, 6 years in a row. Joyce Edwards driving the lane, first shot no good, second shot was blocked, gets her own rebound again, spins, shoots, doesn't score the 3rd time, but Big Mama Medina Okot with the rebound. Here's Tessa, right wing 3 again, bang, got it again. Tessa Johnson, her 3rd three-pointer of the quarter. She's got 11 points, and the Gamecocks are running away with it. It's 74-48. Tournament Tessa has arrived here in the fourth quarter. Here's Suarez up top, around a screen to the top of the circle. Ball knocked free, but they get it back. Olivia Miles, no-look pass to Hunter on the baseline. Her jumper falls through the hole to make it 74-50 with 3 minutes to play. Here's Agat McKeer, drives the lane, has the ball stripped out of her hands, and goes off her foot out of bounds. And it'll go back to TCU on the turnover. Agat McKeer, the freshman, career-high 18 points. Joyce Edwards, 24 points, 12 rebounds tonight. Tessa Johnson comes out and gets a big hug from her teammates. 11 points here in the fourth quarter, including 3 for 3 from three-point range. Joyce Edwards comes out as well, 24 points, 12 rebounds. Miriam Dowda, Maddie McDaniel in there. Isla McDowell in for the first time, the freshman from Cypress Springs, Texas. Gamecocks going into their bench now. Sheffy drives in the lane, cut off, feeds underneath the Basham. Kicks it back out to Sheffy up top. Work it to Suarez left side. Step back 3 is short. Rebound will just go out of bounds. It'll be Carolina ball. 2:36 to play in this one. Gamecocks running away with it here in the second half. Had an 8-point lead at halftime, then had a 14-0 run here early in the fourth quarter to blow this thing open after trailing by 8 early. Largest lead was 26, and the ball stolen away by Hunter. Donovan Hunter takes it away, and she'll get a layup on the other side. Gamecocks for their second straight turnover, and that cuts the deficit 74-52 with 2:10 to play in the game. Technically, the Gamecocks don't have to shoot it anymore. They can just work the shot clock down every time if they want to. Maddie McDaniel up top. Eyes the shot clock. It's at 15 seconds. Comes around a screen to her left. Now tries to drive into the lane. Needs help as she's cut off. Back to Isla McDowell right side. In the far corner to Dowda. Shot clock under 10. Now McDaniel almost turned it over. Right wing. Shot clock at 5. Trying to drive the baseline. She's bumped. Pulls up from the baseline. Got it! Maddie McDaniel with her first points, and the Gamecocks lead 76-52. 1:40 to play in this one. Gamecocks getting ready for another appearance in the Final Four. Suarez driving left side, cut off, feeds up on the baseline to Sheffy. Jumper up, no good. Rebound, Miriam Dowda, and the Gamecocks have it. 90 seconds away from a Final Four. Coach Staley will burn a timeout just to get a sub in as Allie Tornabese will check in. She'll pick up Medina Okot, who exits with 6 points and 6 rebounds. Carolina ball, the Horned Frogs will go into their bench as well as Natalie Muller will make her first appearance, 6'2" grad student from Eden Prairie, Minnesota, transfer from South Dakota. She'll pick up Suarez, who will get her curtain call. Carolina ball. Maddie McDaniel will bring it up. Dribbling right. Gamecocks, a minute 20 away from another trip to the Final Four. Got McKeer left side, shot clock at 15. McKeer had the ball poked out of her hand, stolen away by Sheffy. Third straight turnover by the Gamecocks here. With 1:05 to play in the fourth, but an explosive fourth quarter nonetheless for the Gamecocks. Sheffy swings it left side to Bigby. Shot clock down to 15. Bigby around a screen to her right. Passes left to Mazurek. Now Bigby, shot clock at 10. Comes around a screen to her left. Pull-up jumper from the left elbow. Rolls out, no good. Rebound, Maddie McDaniel. 45 seconds to play. Gamecocks on perhaps the last possession that they have to shoot it. Isla McDowell fighting off defenders. Top of the circle. Passes left to Dowda. Now back to Maddie McDaniel between the rings. Gamecocks are 30 seconds away from another Final Four, and they're going to get a foul on Donovan Hunter. Donovan Hunter collects the foul, her second, as they'll go to their bench. Hunter will come out, and Clara Bielefeld will check in, a 6'4" freshman from Germany. Only the third team foul on TCU. Talia Parker also checks in for TCU, a 6'1" sophomore from Oklahoma City who transferred for Texas A&M. Up top, Maddie McDaniel. Final 25 seconds here. Maddie McDaniel left side, shot clock at 10, goes underneath the Turnabes. Spins, shoots, scores! Allie Turnabes with her first points, and it's 78-52. An explosive fourth quarter for the Gamecocks, 13 seconds away. Up top is Sheffy. Ball knocked out of her hands. Fight for it near midcourt. Sheffy recovers. 7 seconds to play. Dribbling right. 4 seconds to play. Sheffy pulls up from the free throw line. Shot at the buzzer won't go down. And for the 6th year in a row, the South Carolina Gamecocks are dancing to the Final Four. South Carolina is headed to Phoenix. Pack your bags for the 10th time. The Gamecocks in the Elite Eight. And now advancing to the Final Four for the 8th time in program history and 6th in a row. South Carolina defeats TCU here in Sacramento, 78-52 to dance on to Phoenix. We'll take a timeout and start our wrap-up after this. This women's basketball postseason radio broadcast is proudly presented by the South Carolina Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. And you've been listening to South Carolina Women's Basketball on the Gamecock Sports Network from Learfield.
UConn is playing outstanding and efficient basketball on both ends, and the Gamecocks going to enjoy this one tonight. Turn the page to UConn tomorrow.
It took everybody for South Carolina tonight after they trailed by 8 early in this ball game. But it got McKeer bringing the energy and effort. 18 points for her. Joyce Edwards with a team-high 24, and South Carolina continues to dance. We will see the Gamecocks in Phoenix for their 8th Final Four appearance. Let's get you to SportsCenter with SVP.
Good evening, welcome. SportsCenter from the nation's capital. The Final Four is set. Undefeated UConn will take on South Carolina. Meanwhile, UCLA, whose only loss of the year is to Texas, will face the Longhorns in a rematch. We have a packed show on the way, including a visit with Dawn Staley. But we're going to get right back to Sacramento in just a bit, as this South Carolina team, replacing so much talent, but getting right back to where they're so familiar this time of year. 6 straight Final Fours. Chris Budden standing by in Sacramento. Chris?
Joyce Edwards, what a game by you. At the end of the third quarter, this was still a tight ball game. You guys blew it wide open in the fourth. What was the difference?
I mean, we just had to stay to our course. I mean, we know the game is over a course of 40 minutes, and we just did what we had to do in order to win the game.
You had a great game, but I want to ask you about your teammate. You guys call her Gotti. What did Agat McKeer give you guys today?
I mean, I'm so proud of her. Like, she came in, she made a huge impact, and doing this as a freshman is insane. And then a freshman on South Carolina is crazy. But she came in and she played basketball. Like we know that she knows how to do. So we're just so proud of her.
You guys faced some adversity today. You trailed for the first time this tournament. You had to switch up and do some different lineups. Why is this a team that's built to make a run in Phoenix?
I mean, we're resilient. We had to play multiple different lineups throughout the season due to injuries or sickness or whatever.
Congratulations. We'll see you in Phoenix. Go celebrate.
Thank you.
Scott.
As South Carolina celebrates, some more context on the Final Four we will see out in Phoenix, and it is remarkable as it's 1 seeds, all of them, for the first time in 8 years when UConn, Louisville, Mississippi State, Notre Dame met in 2018, ending with an all-time moment from Arike Ogunbowale. It's the 5th time in women's history the last 4 standing are 1 seeds. Even more rare, it's the same 4 programs in the Final Four as last year, albeit different matchups. Just the 2nd time in women's history the Final Four repeats from the previous year. Hadn't happened since 95 and 96 when it was UConn, Tennessee, Stanford, and Georgia. As for South Carolina, I mentioned it, and I'm sure I will when Dawn joins me in a moment. 6 in a row in the Final Four, 2nd longest streak by any program all time. They had just 2 Final Four appearances prior to this run, beginning in 2017. Now they seek a 5th national championship game appearance and a 4th title. You see the title odds, and UConn, who has not lost, are the favorites. South Carolina, then Texas, then UCLA are in descending order. The favorites when they get together. It's Dawn Staley joining us. Dawn, it's Scott Van Pelt. Welcome back to the program. It's always wonderful to visit with you. If I tell you before this game that your squad's going to hold this TCU team who averages 77 a game to 25 under the number, I know you'd be smiling, but what was the recipe that allowed that defense to put them on lock after the first quarter?
Well, I think Olivia Miles puts a lot of pressure on the defense, so we really tried to limit her vision, try to get into a game in which she shot the ball inefficiently, and just tried different people at her. Raven started on her, Gotti finished it, just different bodies thrown at her, and she still ends up, killing us. But at the same time, over the course of 40 minutes, I thought it would pay off.
Well, you've got Defensive Player of the Year in Raven, and everybody follow that lead. Did you have a sweet spot, Dawn? Like, did you have a number in mind where it's like, if she gets this, I could live with it? Meaning Olivia.
No, it's all about inefficiency. It's all about being able to get her take a lot of shots and not hit very many of them. I think we did a really good job of just contesting at the rim. Really good job at, contesting. She got loose a few times, but if you can control, like if you cut the head off of the snake, the body will go. And I thought we did a really good job of just controlling everybody else outside of Olivia.
I see that new hat on your head, but this is an old hat for you. But it's always a new wave of players. This team didn't exist as constructed. So how do you celebrate this night with these women and what they're experiencing together for the first time?
Listen, we had people who transferred in, Tanaya, Medina. They all made sacrifices to come to play for South Carolina. It's only right that we get to share a Final Four with them, so I'm super happy. They made a huge sacrifice, and the sacrifice is well worth it when you're able to play in the Final Four. A third of our team is made up of new players. Agat, Isla, Medina, and Tanaya. They all did a great job of playing the role that they needed to play for us, and they did it to the best of their abilities. But I'm super happy. Raven gets to go out competing for a national championship like she came to South Carolina. And I'm just really super proud of this team because there were a lot of unknowns coming into this season, and probably our ranking and what people thought of us were probably off of our history. And there were just too many holes, and I'm just happy that we're able to fill them in a way that we get to compete on the 3rd weekend of the NCAA tournament. And then, we go up against a giant and UConn. So we'll have to play the game on Friday.
I want to let you get to your team to celebrate, but I want to close with that thought, Don, because you've been the team that's perfect, and you would know what comes with that, right? You would know what they're managing. You would know where they might be vulnerable. And I say might be because they're quite a team. But how do you use that to your advantage to help this team understand where you could attack UConn?
Well, you got to keep the game close. You got to be able to score. Obviously, we probably aren't going to keep them from from 25 points under their average. I think you just got to try to go pound for pound and just be unafraid of playing against an undefeated team. I think the pressures of playing undefeated, if you keep it close, yeah, you might. I doubt it, but you might get them on a bad night. And we're hoping Friday is a bad night for them.
My favorite thing about this job, Dawn, is I get a chance to visit with greatness on a daily basis, and that's what I'm doing right now. Always enjoy your time, and I congratulate you and your team. Go enjoy this one, and good luck against that Giant on Friday, okay?
Much love, Scott.
All right, be well. Dawn Staley. And South Carolina moving on. It's all 1 seed.